Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Lilu Nishmasi Mimiros Hirus Mordechai. Gewaldig. Okay. I was looking for a young volunteer, and I realized that the average age here right now is about 50 or so. What is going on here? Oh, maybe Oshi. Oh, Oshi. No, he's not a volunteer. Okay, not for that. He knows what it is. He's like, no. Rabbi Isai, gewaldige stuff. We have here Rabbi Avram Friedman, who comes to the night shir every night, the one all the way to the right with the hat on. He went to his Alte Zayda's caver in Poland, the level of a Rebbe, and he says him and Rabbi Avram Kap from Ezrat Achim are learning the daf on the flight. Yeah, mamish with the whole Shmoyne Begodim. Yesterday we had a bacher here, Yaakov Weinstock. He told me about a friend of his that does the daf, and that his mom made him this cake. I think it was his mother. They made this cake for the siyum. I want to read here a Vilna Gaon. Somebody sent me this. It's really down from Lakewood, New Jersey. It says this Gaon Mishlei is what you were speaking about. So like 2 lines in, it says Ivelis. It says in the pasuk Ivelis Adam Tesalev Darkoi. You know this one? When you want to come, you want to do good, so HaKadosh Baruch Hu helps you out. So a person starts learning Torah, and do mitzvahs, and then he starts because it's really hard for him. And nobody's helping him. The Shemaim is not. And he's upset at Hashem. It says, how come Hashem didn't help me? The reason is it's because of your fault, your foolishness. A person has to go with his madrega, not to jump. When I told that taxi driver, don't grab the entire Shabbos with all the chumras and all the, I don't know, even chumras, maybe all the mitzvahs of Shabbos. But it's too much for a human being sometimes. Slow. Because he didn't go with the normal way, that's why the HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't help him. People, they buy immediately, they buy a full year membership in the gym. They start working out 3-4 hours every day, and they last for 3 days straight. Vizel, that's the end of the year. Slow. You don't buy a road bike and go on a 45-kilometer thing the first day, 1 kilometer at a time. Givaldik, next. Hello, Rebelli. Ranon Elephant. I want to thank you for your wonderful shiurim. I recently turned 45, and although I'm modern Orthodox, you hear this? Although I'm modern Orthodox, I've not been able to get into learning Talmud for years. Even back in day school, it made no sense. Over the last few years, I tried to join the daf cycle and quickly failed. Looking back, I wasn't mentally ready, but for some reason over the last few weeks, I felt a calling. Somehow now it's making more sense to me, and a big part of it is thanks to your videos, which I thoroughly enjoy. I hope to join you share in person on my next trip to Israel. Yasher Kochacha, Ronen Elephant. Berish Ludmir, MDY on the sand dunes of Dubai, part of the Beis David trip. Beautiful picture. Dear Rebelli, I'm an English bacher. He comes from England, in Yeshiva Shar Yosef, where my father was a Magachir when I was about 4 or 5 years old. So this is going back 47 years ago in Farakaway. Baruch Hashem, things are going very well. I'm a 3rd-year bacher, and it is my first year here. For a reason I can't remember why, during 6 minutes Manim, I learned a couple of your daf, starting from the beginning of Masechtas Brachos. I said to myself that this is going to be the night seder. Night seder is something a little bit more relaxed compared to the rest of the day, but still something that I would be able to do, and it's so geschmack the way you give over this year. It's easy to follow, makes me feel really great, because I feel like I'm completing something. It's finishing Masechta is something that I'm desperate to do. Through your shir and your incredible way against shir, I'm doing it with simcha. I love the shir, and even when I can't be bothered to learn after a long day in yeshiva, once I start the daf, I feel relaxed and at ease and enjoy it. It's clear and easy to follow, really helping me in the day, making me feel complete. Bekitzer, I cannot express my kursa toiv. Without you share, I don't know if I'll be finished. I doubt it carrying on. Because you share, I'm going to carry on in complete shas. No, I don't think I'll be doing well in yeshiva without it. You hear this? It helps this whole day. Bekitzer, that's what he's saying. I don't know if I'll be doing well in yeshiva. It's mamish helping my learning and helps my mindset so much, and overall helps my day in yeshiva in an incredible amount. So thank you so much. And yes, I'm very scared for Masechta Shabbos, considering it's only the second Masechta and it's long. I've heard it's very hard, but I'm also looking forward to it. Be benched. I'm thinking now, why is he doing Masechta Shabbos? He should do Masechta Sanhedrin, Daf, Nun, Beis. Today, start with everybody else. Much better. It will put you on a pace. Zaki Sager from London. Huh? Why not? No. He's going to be looking out for his email. That's how people are. Yeah. But it's a good nakuda. The Masechta, Refuah Shelaima for Yosef Chaim Shmuel ben Alte Nechama from his grateful family. The Masechta sponsored by Atzlacha Bruchins ובגשמיות. The Masechta sponsored by Larry Cohn and Yechiel Moshe Ben Chaim who started learning Daf Yomi at age 70 and continued for 32 years until he was nifter. Leon Welcher.
Okay, it worked.
It worked for the speedy release of Arab and Eli Gittel, Ari Rosenfeld. It worked. Leon, you got to go for something else now. I skipped ahead to him. I'm still holding the Masechtas. The Masechta is sponsored for the unity of the Jewish people by Glenn Esterson with the loving gratitude of Wilmington, North Carolina. I love this. Mamish love it. I can't say it enough. Wilmington, North Carolina. I don't know if I ever said those words before in my life. Thank you for enriching my life with Torah. Zchariah ben Moshe, Zchariah bas Yosef. Parnasa chodesh. Shoshana Birevach for Baruch Tzvi Nissim ben Shoshana Leah. With Akarsa Toy from Anonymous. Parnasa chodesh Shprintzy Alan Gross, Linishmas the Yosef of our fathers. Shlomo Zalman ben Yitzchak Isaac Zchariah Birevach and Yoman Isaac ben Tzvi. Hirsha Cohn. And Refuah Shelaima to Yonatan Eitan ben Batsheva Bracha. And Yishkoyach Leon Welcher. And welcome home, Ari Rosenfeld. The Coil of the Month, sponsored by HYK Ventures in honor of the success of all our clients. Parnasa Yoim, a Meiser from one of my best commission checks. Couldn't have happened without the daf. Okay. Maybe later. Parnasa Yoim, L'schus Refuah Shelaima, Morna Admor Mevisions, B'nei Brak, Moron, Yisrael ben Leah Esther, Shlita, Refuah Shelaima. Parnasa chodesh for the art, for the Zchut, for Eli, and the whole MDY staff to continue to make Torah and joy of so many, and in honor of Yossi Klein and Mark Ashkenazi for all the work they do. We have a big Zchut. They have Rabbi Einhorn in our shir. He's fairly new. He's here for under a year, but he's accomplished so much so far. Many breakfasts, to the point where people come over to him, they have tinus. Like, why didn't you bring breakfast today? I don't understand. And they say it seriously. That's how. Well, obviously the people that sponsored many breakfasts before, you know how it works. Okay, it's like those guys in the Kiddush in Shul. How come there's no liquor? The Kiddush. When was the last time you made Kiddush here? Never. How come you didn't bring the liquor? Yeah. Okay. Rabbi Isai, I have a question for the Olam as we start. I want to see if you can do a little bit better than the Israeli group. I'm not joking. I was pretty disappointed yesterday in Hebrew. But I'm asking that you don't scream out the answer. I know this is the Yitzhar, you know it and you want to show that you know it. Don't scream out that. If you know the answer, raise your hand. But only if you know the answer. And if you know the answer, you do not say it. And if you were here last night, certainly don't ruin it for everybody. We say every single day, many times, the Chazan says, Bagalo vizman koriv imru amen. What does Bagalo mean? We have one taker. We have a second taker. But be careful, I might ask you what it means. Bagalo vizman. Let's do it again. Bagalo vizman koriv imru amen. What's Bagalo mean? What does Bagalo mean?
In the wagon.
In the wagon. It's not a joke. I'm gonna give a pirush like that also. Rabbi Isai, so if you just came to the shir and okay, in the Hebrew shir, I was very surprised. Full room, 2 people knew the answer in the Hebrew. I told them no. In the English, we're gonna have more because we have art scrolls. A lot of us were okay.
It's a pregnant lady that pushes the baby carriage.
That's what he said. Okay. Shalom Aleichem to all the guests. Shalom Aleichem. You look very familiar. What's your name? From Lakewood. That's why you look very familiar. Oh, Berman from Lakewood. Who else? I saw another new face here. No, you know the answer? What's the answer? Very fast. He's right. Quick. Okay, I'm gonna have to, very good. Bagalov means fast. Shalom Aleichem, what's your name? You're also not new. Remind me who you are. So you were here once before. And you behind? Whoa, Johannesburger. Ah, Gewaldig. Okay. Cool, very cool. Since Psachim, Shkoyach. That's. Oh, you were by the Shabbaton also? No. Are you on the plane with me? Remind me. Ah, that's right. Yeah, you told me you're gonna come. You said you're gonna come in the airport. Yeah, Gewaldig. Okay, Shkoyach. Very nice. Okay. Yeah, I remember. Now I remember. It's coming together. Gewaldig. Yeah, you said I was sitting against the wall and you were sitting one row in front. Very nice. Okay, Shkoyach. Okay, so here we are. We'll go back a line or two. We're holding like 7 lines from the bottom of Nun Aleph Amud Beis, 50 daf into Sanhedrin. So we had a machlokes Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Shmuel. I don't want to scare the olam. By the way, we're only doing 6 lines now to finish up that sugya. Now we have basically Agadata. Very, very easy. Don't get too used to it. Yeah, yesterday was a little rough. The day before was a little rough.
Did a good job.
But it was a little, yeah. Now, we have over here, according to Rabbi Shmuel, a married Bas Kohen who's over on Znus gets chenek, and if she's engaged, the rice engagement, she gets sreifa. According to Rabbi Akiva, it would be similar to Rabbi Shimon, you get sreifa and sreifa. Everything is sreifa. Rabbi Akiva says, the Gemara, Hanik Zer Shava, we have that word, avia, which we spoke about a number of times. We'll get in again. Lemute Pnuya, to exclude an unmarried woman. Unmarried woman is mezana, does not get sreifa. She has to have zikas habal. She has to have a husband. V'hani bas ubas, and the word ubas, the extra vav, l'rabis is an asua. I heard a cute story. I don't know how accurate it is, but it's a story nevertheless. There was a rabbi, and back in the day, fighting with other religions. He was fighting with the mufti. How do you say mufti in English? The mufti. The head of the. So they had an argument. They had an argument about religion, and so the rabbi said, "Could I speak to your congregation?" And he got up and he started quoting verses from the Quran and the whole thing, but a lot of it wasn't accurate. But he said, "Nobody." Then he told him, "Come to my shul on Shabbos." He invited him to his shul, and in his shul on Shabbos, he was the Balkaira, and he bedafka took out a vav, and the whole everybody ooh. It's like what? And then and then he said, "You see, if I mess up with one letter, the whole place goes crazy. And I'm the rabbi, and they have no covet for me. They're screaming at me like very makbid on every ois sheba ois." Okay. Anyway, so says the Gemara, "Bas ubas l'rabis zanusu." Rabbi Shmuel savar midikam le bas ubas shmamino hoda be'migzer shava. Rabbi Shmuel thought for a second that if Rabbi Akiva is going with this bas ubas, he's retracting the Gzer Shava. Rabbi Shmuel, hi bas ubas, my darsh bay. And what does he do with it? The first time I read it, literally, I thought we're talking about animals over here. Animal that's no, we're talking about a kohen, a zachar, a male kohen who is a Baal Mum, cannot perform the avodah. So Yachal nachlik b'vnei seim. So I think that a kohen who has a mum, let's say he's missing a leg, so his daughter who's mizana should not get sreifa because her father doesn't perform the avodah. Talmud loymar basu bas. No, any daughter. Rabbi Kiva mevehem akrim v'hayu kodesh nafka, that any kohen is kodesh. You don't lose your kedusha just because you lost your foot. You just can't perform the avodah. Rabbi Shmuel imahi, I can't learn from that pasuk. Avamina hanimiliinu. The father doesn't lose his kedusha, but maybe perhaps the daughter shouldn't get sreifa kamash mallah. And now here we go. Bunch of agadita. Rabbi Shmuel, hi esavia hi michaleles my darish bay. So Rabbi Akiva learns from Aviyah that you have to have zikas habal, you have to be married to a man. But Rabbi Shmuel doesn't need that pasuk. He learns it from a binyan out, says Rashi. So my darshbe, what does he learn with the extra word Aviyah? Is that by her being mizana, there's an amazing practical halacha to our days. It says in halacha that if in our day you have a kohen whose daughter goes off the derech, as a married woman, let's say, she's married, she goes off the derech, and she's mizana, the father no longer gets kohen at shul. Practical. It's the Ramah. Yeah? It's from this Gemara.
Who's going to do that?
Yeah, who's going to paskin that? And but I don't know how practical it is, but it's practical. If this kohen used to get kohen, he used to get the zimun at all the Sheva brachas and all the siyumim of the shul. He gets no more. We start treating him. Now, let me ask you a question. This kohen whose daughter was mizana, does he do birkus kehanim? Does he continue to do it? No, Reb Nachum. Does birkus kehanim? Why do you say so? You're giving me a whole chashav drasha, but the simple answer is yes, but why? The answer. Let me tell you the answer. You're bringing me a raya from another halacha. I'm asking you why. What's the reason behind it? The reason is because we take away things that are of honor. And Nesis Kapayim, you do it because you're a kohen. What? Yeah, it's Yechiel. We're not honoring. We're not saying, oh, here, because you're a kohen, you get to wash your hands first. You get to do zimun. You get the first aliyah. First aliyah is a covet thing. It's not a chiyuv. So things that have to do with covet, we take away. Things that are not. We treat him with the opposite of covet. And you say, to me, it was a pella playing. It seems like from the Gemara, you have a kid that goes off the derech. It's the parents' fault over here. What about Avram Avinu? What about Yitzchak? What about G'dayli Yolam that had kids? What you say, Arur Shazu Yolad. You tell the Avram Avinu, Arur. I don't know. Arur Shazu Yolad. Arur Shazu Gidel. So it's you cursed is the person that gave birth to this woman who's Mizana. Cursed is this person that brought him up like this. Arur Shiyot Zum Chalotzav. Now, according to this, who do we say to a person? You're the Rasha, the son of a Rasha. You say you're the Rasha, the son of a Tzaddik. Kiman Kaitana. I saw a fascinating Moshe Feinstein who says that let's say a person dies and he leaves kids that are not Shem Torah mitzvahs. But a lot of people, they have this Kaddish for the father. So they go into a kollel, they give a guy $1,000 to say Kaddish the whole year. How many months should this guy say Kaddish? Now, a typical son says Kaddish for 11 months. Why? Why? Because you want to it's not covered to do for 12 months, because then you're saying your parent is like a Rasha going to Gehenna. So you do 11 months. Says Ramosha, but in this case, since he's hired, he's not dishonoring the father. He's being hired, so he should say for 12 months. But besides, he says from this Gemara, there's a problem with the father. Why does he have so many kids that are off the derech like that? It seems like his kids, he says plural. His kids, so the father has issues anyways. He needs more schusim, should say for 12 months. Zu mitzvahs haniskalim. If you go back to the Mishnah, here you don't have to go back. Daf Yomi Amud Beis, small little Mishnah. It says, Mrs. Bezdin, Skilos Refuah this, and then all the way at the end it says, Zu mitzvahs haniskalim, which is interesting lashon. What's going on here? What exactly do we say that says this is the mitzvah? This is skila. You take out this guy to throw him off the roof. I feel like I said it. I know I said it last night. If I said it, please stop me immediately. There's a case, a recent case in Ramat Daled, where a lot of people that have these houses here in Zavitan know what I'm talking about. Like legally, you're only allowed to build, let's say, 100 meters in this apartment. So they give this apartment with a double ceiling in the dining room. So a lot of people go ahead and they put another floor in there later on after so they make an extra bedroom. So the guy the guy told him this is a double ceiling, a double floor, 2 floors. So he bought it thinking that he's going to later come in and put in a floor. So when he got the keys, he couldn't believe it. It was only 5 meters. And once you put the 40 centimeters of cement, you can't live on either of the floors. So he took him to the entire, he wanted his money back. So the guy said, no, it says in the Gemara, shtei kaimais. Shtei kaimais is 2 human beings. Here, you throw them off shtei kaimais. Shtei kaimais. Shtei kamot. That's how you say it in Hebrew, shtei kamot. What's shtei kamot? Right over here. How much is that? 6 feet plus 6 feet. I gave you 12 feet. What's the ma'abayan? No moving. So they said, listen to B'nai Adam. That's how people talk. Shtei kamot means to real. A true story. Of course, no. He ended up paying the guy. He ended up paying the kablan $100,000. That's what happened. No, I don't know what happened. Who knows? It just makes sense. The kacha. Now we are talking, Rabbi said, we're going into burning people. So that's why we had to finish off that mission and say, Zui mitzvahs hanesko. That's it. We're done with that sugya of stoning, and now we're moving on to burning. Tananami zu mitzvahs hanesko. Rabbi said, you ask a kid, what's sreifa? It would seem like sreifa means you turn on the barbecue and you throw the guy in there and you flip him over a couple of times. What's sreifa? So the Mishnah tells us, Chiddush Gadol, sreifa is not like what we think, that you just burn a guy. And the Gemara is going to prove it from the Psukim. It means you do something like this. It's geschmack. We're going to go kill a guy. It's like Shweki. No, it's not this music that came with it. I'm serious. Yoshi added this. Yavana. It's like Jewish music. Hold on, it gets good. You did the sediments on the top. Then you do this, you burn it. The few videos I saw had this. This is the stuff right over here. You pour this down his mouth. That's it. It's very good. It looks good. Lemesim. Lemisa. Oh. And those are the bars of lead. He was wearing a mask. Obviously, today we know that lead is a shtickle dangerous. Mitzvahs hanisrafim. This is this is not a good death. Rabbi said it's not good. Mitzvahs hanisrafim hoy mishakin oisoy bezevel adar kuvoisov. We don't want this guy to move. So check this out. I have a picture of how this looks. You take a bunch of manure. Here we go. And we put him in up to his knees into the manure. And then, now, what's this manure business? So I looked it up. First of all, I went to the Hebrew Art Scroll. It doesn't even say it's manure, but the English says it's manure. But what's pshat in the manure? The manure is a way to mamish embarrass a guy. Oh, reminds me of the story. I didn't even say it yesterday. I had a story with manure. I was also up to here in manure, but that's a different story. When I was 3 years old, in one of Reb Nachman's books, Saved by the Flush. It's a Mefur Shabais in a book. It's a true story. Anyway, this is what you do. Whoa.
He was flushed back to life.
Okay. We have a very hard piece of something. This would kill the person, but the problem is that if you put this around his neck and pull it tight, it could rip the skin, and that's not nice. So we have something softer like this. This, when I was in Utah, the famous Yonah Bookstein, who's on Zoom all the time, I don't know if he's on today, he gave me this. Oh, that guy, yeah, that guy, the guy on the right. Now everybody comes over and says, you Lubavitch? He says, no, I'm not Lubavitch. He's not, but what? He looks like Weissfish, a little bit. Okay, so anyways, you take this soft cloth, the Yonah Bookstein cloth, and then you put this inside, and you can just wrap it around. Now you have the hard and the soft together. It's a softer layer. Oy, I really wanted this to pop out over here. Okay, it doesn't really matter. Now, one aid holds this side, the other aid holds this side, and they wrap around the neck, and they both pull. Now, if they pull too much, what's going to happen? The guy's going to choke. He's going to die. But they do it just enough that he gags, like he opens up his mouth. He's forcing his mouth closed because he doesn't want to drink the l'chaim. This makes his mouth pop open. It's interesting. The Raavad says that this smell of the manure makes a person die quicker. And in Parshas Shavua, the Medrash says that there was a terrible smell during the whole when the mitzvah were dying. Also part of the oynish. You take a hard cloth and you put it into a soft cloth, and you wrap it around his neck. This aid from the Eidim that testified against him, they get the honors. He pulls with this side until he opens up his mouth. What's going on here? It's not like a fuse of a firecracker fuse. It's madlikas apsila means he, like we saw in the video, like he melts down this lead. And then he pours it down his mouth. Here we could continue with this video for a second. So what happened? Oh. It goes into his intestines, and it burns out his intestines. I saw this story exactly the same way twice. I'll say it over from the Arizal. This very wealthy guy, a big mechutzev, went to the Arizal and was mevayishim. He was cursing him out or something. So the Arizal looked at him and he started telling him averis that he did. He said, "You did this crazy aver and this one." And the guy was shocked, and he started crying. He said, "Okay, what do? I need to do tshuva." Like he realized that it's on his forehead. You could see it. So the Rizal said, "Okay, yechayiv misa, yechayiv sreifa. I have to kill you with sreifa." So the guy's makal on himself to die with sreifa. So they tied him down, and the Rizal made he heated up the lead. The whole process, tied him down, and he said, "Say vidui, do tshuva," and the guy did. And then they closed his eyes, and they opened up his mouth, and the Rizal put honey into his mouth. The guy was like, he said, "Okay, that's it. You did the tshuva, you thought you were going to die, and you did everything. That's enough of a kapara for now." And then the guy became his big chassid, etc. That's the ma'aseh. 9 months later, he was one of the big talmidim of the Rizal. So says the Mishnah, Rabbi Yehuda Omer, af hu immeis biyodam. We have a problem. What if they pull too hard and he'll die with the choking, and that's called chenek. Lo yeholim mekayim by mitzvah sreifa. That's not how you do it. Ella poisech es piv b'tzvas shloi b'tevasei. Rabbi Nechama, you're the youngest guy here. You wanna come over? Get over here. I got a little surprise for you.
Average level shishi.
You ready?
Yeah.
Get over here.
I'm here. What do you want to do? Whoa. What needs to be done?
You have to close your mouth.
Okay.
And I have to open it up with this. Hold on.
Okay. The child's coming in.
Oh, this is hard. This is harder than I thought.
Okay.
Don't pull against. Don't force. Here we go. All right. Just go ahead.
That works somehow.
Yishmak. So anyways, use one of these. Mamish Tzvat. Did a better job than that Israeli kid. Use pliers. Now this reminds me of a Meiser Shahaya with my shver. He was on a house call back in the day. He wanted to make some extra cash. The house calls, you remember the doctors with the black, the little thing? So he comes to the guy's house. The daughter's really sick. He goes into the room, and he opens up the door. He asks the father. He says, "Do you have like a plier or something?" So the guy says, "Plier." Okay. He brings the plier. He says, "No, I need also a hammer." So he brings a hammer, and then he says, after like a minute or so, he says, "No, you have a screwdriver?" So wait, what's going on with my daughter? He says, No, it's not your daughter. I can't get into my tick, into my my briefcase. Says the Gemara, you do this, you open up his mouth with a plier against his will, and you light it up, you heat it up, and then you throw it into his mouth. Instead of doing it with this, you do it with a plier, so you don't choke him by mistake. And it burns out his intestines. Says Rebbe Elazar, we're going to see this interesting, that in fact Rebbe Elazar Tzaddik saw two of the exact same stories. Funniest thing, Ma'isa bebas kohen achash zinsa. There was a story of Ma'isa Shahaya with a daughter of a kohen who was mezana bekifu chavilis moiros, and they surrounded her. They put her within these bundles of twigs, usrafu, and they made her like ba'omer fire, and they burnt her in the fire, not like we just said to give her hot molten. Don't bring any right from the story that you saw. Those were a bunch of tzdukim. They don't believe in the Gemara, and they read it literally. She just burned her in a bonfire. Says Gemara, my psila, what is a psila? What's this wick? Psila shel avar, it's a wick of lead. Minalan, how do we know this? How do you know it's not just burning a person at a bonfire? We learned the word sreifa. Here I just threw in all three psukim. The pasuk in our sugis is Saviyah Michalas be'esh tisaref. A zayna gets sreifa, and it says by Kairach Yigraz Machlis and Chosha Sheyikrivu as srufim, the burnt. So Malal and Sreifas Nechama v'guf kaim, just like by Kairach, they were burnt, but their bodies were whole. In other words, you couldn't tell from the outside that they were burnt. Avkam by Abbas Kayin Sreifas Nechama v'guf kayom, the burnings from the inside of the body, we leave the entire body, the outside whole. How do we know that? The Gemara is going to say soon. The bottom pasuk. We take the top pasuk and the bottom pasuk. Another view, they died from the inside. How does he know? How do you know that by koirach it actually they were burned from the inside? So he says, the nefesh, the neshama is burned, the guf kayam. V'idach, Hagam doesn't learn from Koirach. Why did he go to Bnei Aaron? No, I don't agree. They were burned physically. Why does it mamashi? How come it says that their nefesh was burnt? Why did they die? Because of the neshama. It's a pasuk until chanfe, like chanufa, lagi moig, chorik olay shinei. He'll grind his teeth. B'shvil chanufa sheichnifu lekoirach aliske legima, because of the chanufa that they did to koirach. Koirach gave them to eat and to drink. Chorak aleim sar shegehenim shinov. That how did Koirach buy them? With a little food. That's what Rabbi Ironhorn does here. He brings a food once in a while. A few ragalach, a few this. Al iske legima. That's how Koirach got them, and that's why the Sar Shel Gehenim, he paid them back with his teeth, so to speak. He ground them with his teeth. Just yesterday, Mary Kennick sent me the very, very first pictures of the first shear that I've ever given here in Eretz Yisrael on a daf in my house, the sikum. And I think you probably took the pictures because you're not in them. All those pictures, you're not in them, but you're in them. I want to show you, I want to share with you, because I was just thinking, through food, I was able to get these guys. Nobody came to hear my sikum on 7 daf. Here it is. The guy all the way on the right, with the long beard, he's the guy that does our chalt usually. Now, he learned from that shear, the chalt. And this is Mendy, Rabbi Yosef, if you don't recognize. Sitting in the same spot that he does today. You see? 2 over on that side. And you see, he's saying Vaiter. And this is a Lazar Kapach. He always used to clean up. Lazar Kapach comes to the Hebrew shir now. You remember him cleaning? Hold on. That other guy. Who is that other guy? That is it. Remember that? Our hair was our hair. All our hair. You were a little redder. Mine was a little blacker. Okay. Zog the Gemara. And how do you know that Bnei Aaron weren't burned from the outside, only in the inside? They died in front of Hashem, like regular death. In other words, like a person dies in his bed, nothing is on the outside, it's from the inside. And what is the Madonna that says from Kairach? It's not true, they died regular burning. No, you're right, it started from the inside, but it spread. They were burned from the outside as well. The Sanhedrin of Yosef in the Stoyomer. 2 strings of fire came out of the Kodesh HaKadoshim. And they divided and split into 4. Two in this one's nose, another in Avihu's nose, usrafim. It says a very interesting thing. It says that the halacha is that a person that's moira halacha lifnei rabbi, it's roi like kisha nachash. A snake should come and bite him. So he says that in the midbar, another Avihu should have. They were moira halacha lifnei rabbi. They should have gotten bit by a snake, but there's no snakes in the midbar. Why are there no snakes? Because it says in the Medrash, and he brings Rebbe Lazar ben Pedas says that there's two nitzoitzim yoitzim ebein shnei akruvim. There's a lashon of a Tana that the two nitzoitzim came out of a sparks and burnt out all the nechashim v'akravim. So he says those are the so instead of the snakes, they have those sparks that got rid of the nechashim. Those are the ones that came and killed Nadav Avihu. Says the Gemara. Vaksiv vatoichal oisam them and not anything else. Oisam v'loy bigdayim. It means that them, but their clothes. It's interesting. They themselves burnt, but not their clothes. Not their clothes. V'neilav and Parnasa Rafim. If you recall, we just had the sugya of Par Helam Davar and Par Karim Mashiach. That's when either the Kohen Gadol makes a mistake or Roiv Klai Yisrael makes a mistake in halacha. Chiyav Kares, and it was a Chiyav Kares, I think. And when you make such a mistake, so you bring one bull, but you burn it outside of the Beis HaMikdash. In the makom of the Trum Sadeshan over there, you burn it. So why don't we learn from Parnasa Rafim? It says the word Sreifa, Malal and Sreifa Mamish. You burn the entire bull, not just the inside, from the outside also. Afkan, Sreifa Mamish, maybe burn them, and not just give them hot lead. It makes sense to learn from Koirach or from Bnei Aaron. You learn from a human being. Why? For 4 reasons. Shekein Adam, first of all, we're learning a Zaina, a Bas Kohen, who's a human from another human, Koirach or another Avihu. Choite, she sinned, they also sinned. Neshama, it takes away her Neshama, their Neshama. Pigul, now we're going to the animal. The animal, you could do Pigul, you could have the wrong intent while you're shechting the bull, but you cannot have wrong intent when Nadav and Avihu, there's no shaykhs to Pigul. Says Gemara Adarabah and Parnasa Rafim, but there's a few reasons to say you should learn from Par Helam Davar. Shekein Machshir, it's a positive, it's not a negative. You're supposed to do a Par Helam Davar. This is what the Torah wants you to do. And L'Doiris in the last 2 generations, whereas Korach was a one-time thing, Nadav Avihu was a one-time thing. Says Gemara, very good, but that's only 2 things against 4. Hanach Lefishin, you have 4 against 2, so 4 wins, and therefore we learn a Bas Kohen from either Korach or from Nadav Avihu, and not from Parim Hanis Rafim. Says Gemara, that's Korach, my time Bnei Aaron. And how come he does the Mandamar from Korach doesn't learn from Aaron? Now who's Sreif from Mamish Avai? B'nei Mina. You should learn that there was a real Sreif. It wasn't inside the body. But so learn from there. Omar Rav Nachman. So fakert. Why don't we learn that? Yeah, from Korach and the whole body burns from that. Rav Nachman says Rav Nachman. We have a concept. If there's 2 ways to die, brother Misa Yafa, give him the better way to die, the easier, the nicer way to die. We have this logic of Rav Nachman that you should give him the better way to die. Why do I need a Gzer Shava of Sreifa to say that you use hot lead? Ilav Gzer Shava, says Gemara, beautiful. Without a Gzer Shava, I mean, Sreifa Neshama v'guf Kaim la Sreifa Klau. I think everybody in this room would agree. If I told you before that you don't burn this woman literally, just you pour hot lead down her throat, you'll tell me I'm crazy. Well, that's not burning. Burning means to burn, like a barbecue on a skewer. No. So that's why the Torah says no. That is considered to kill with sreifa. But it says you should love your fellow like you love yourself. So therefore, you should. You have to give him the better misa. But how do you give him a better misa when you're burning on a tree? When you're burning in a flame? Give him a little bit more wood. Bagalov is man koriv. Lago means faster. Bagalov, quickly. So Rabbi Yisrael Meir Lau said that when he was a little child coming out of the concentration camps and he was saying Kaddish for his parents, he used to think it meant Bagalov in the wagon that they used to bring the bodies into the fire in Auschwitz. But don't say that pshat, Rabbi Yisai, don't say that pshat. Bagalov means to go quicker. Think about it, a little kid saying Kaddish, and he's thinking about these wagons of dead people. I was meeting with Reb Noam Fix last night at 1 a.m. in his house, and he told me this Gemara without knowing that he never saw this. He told me, he said, the Gemara says, Moshe by Ma'amad Har Sinai, V'nodav ha'avihu mahalchim achreim, and Nodav and Avihu were walking behind them, V'chol Yisrael achreim, and all Klal Yisrael were behind them. Omar Loi Nodav la'avihu. You know how the Gdolim sometimes they schmooze with each other? So here's the inside. That's not so nice. A mic drop. Mom is like that. Nodav ha'avihu, the mic dropped. The mic was on, they didn't realize. Ein mosayo musu shnei zkenim alolu v'ani v'ato naring hadar. They think to themselves, when are these two old people, Moshe and Aaron, going to die? And we're going to take over? Let me see who's old and who's not. This is what people say. There's so many old camels that are carrying the hides of the young camels. There's so many older people that saw many young people go lo'elam ha'emes. What do you think? That you're gonna, and at the end of the Avihu didn't outlive Moshe and Aaron. Says Reb Noach Weinberg, he says that the taina over here is you, Nadav and Avihu, you think you're so great that you could be Manik Klal Yisrael. And what are you waiting for? Moshe and Aaron to die? That's the problem. If you have the koichas, jump in today. What are you doing today? You don't have to take over so-and-so's shir, and you take over, start your own shir, do your own thing, open up your own yeshiva.
What happened when they did their own thing?
It is when? Really? Mamish coming up.
They did
Wow.
their own thing, they went in and did something and then they died.
That's not the point. No.
They made an executive decision. They went into the Hashem, they did avodah.
Within halacha. I'm saying it's a great musa haskel to people. If you have a koyach, go ahead and do something with it. Don't wait for somebody to offer you and somebody to die and somebody to this. You have something, go. You go with it. A Maisa Shahaya that I know in Chicago, a lot of people do this in real estate. They have a neighbor, an old guy. Back then, he was 60, and his neighbor was 80 years old, the old lady. He made a deal with her. He struck a deal with her. He said, listen, I'm going to give you $3,000 every month. And after you die, I get your house no matter what. So she's like, she was okay. Listen, $3,000 a month. It's not a bad deal. And Adiyah she's still alive. And he's already in his 80s. I'm serious. He's like 80 something. And he's mamish, I don't know where he is. He's not using that house anymore. He's like in a nursing home somewhere. And she's still in the house, as far as I know. Like last time I checked up on it. And that's what it is. People. The old camel outlives the young camel. Omar Rebbe Lezer. Daf Yomi Amud Beis. You should know that Amaretz has a lot of respect for the Talmid Chacham. In the beginning, he respects him. He's like a golden vessel. Siper Meno, then he talks to him a little bit. He sees the shtusim that come out of his mouth. He says, oh no, you know what? He downgrades him to like silver. Then he gives the Talmid Chacham, a little, what is it called, a kvittel. He gives him some money. Once he gives him money, now he downgrades him to like the pottery, kivin shenishbar, shuvein l'takana. Once that's it, you can't upgrade, you can't build your respect again. Sponsors. What? What'd you say? Really? Turning of the daf, Shvat, I got it. In honor of Elchanan President official, Schusfak, Yivasimcha Ben Fegel, Shidduch 4, Yudis Batsiaf Chaya, and thank you to Rebbe Stefansky. Adar Global, experts in international financial services, anonymous, L'schus Refuah Satino Gicheskel Yedidyo, Ben Nechama Shendel Refuah Shelaima. Story time. Imarto Bastali, a sheep, the daughter of a sheep, in 2 different languages. Bas Cohn Shezin Sahave. She was the daughter of a Cohn, and she's Mizana, says Rashi, it's in the time of the Amoraim. The Beis HaMikdash was destroyed in the time of the Tanoim. So the Amoraim was much later. There's no Beis HaMikdash. Akfor Rav Chamo Bar Tuvio Chavilis Miros V'Sarfo, he surrounded her with a bunch of wood, made a beautiful bonfire, and he burnt her. Omer Rav Yosef Ta B'Tarti made two giant mistakes here. Ta B'Rav Masna. First of all, you don't burn somebody with wood. You pour hot lead down their throats. V'ta B'Detanya, and he also made a big mistake that the timing was off. Uvasa la kohanim alavim v'lashevet ashayeh b'yomim mehem. It's bizman sheyesh kohen yesh mishpat. We already learned it in different words. We said you have to have a Sanhedrin in order to kill somebody. You don't have a Sanhedrin if there's no Beis Hamikdash. It's the time of Damarai. No Sanhedrin. No killing people in the city square, whatever it is. When there's a kohen in Beis Hamikdash, there's mishpat. You don't sentence to death when there's no Beis Hamikdash. He witnessed that they killed what? He killed her, but she deserves to die anyways, and she would have died in another way. You're right. I don't know what the halacha is. There's even misa b'zman hazeh. We discussed it today. Hayoim. Rabbi Chanan Wasserman went and killed the guy in the mikveh. You could, if there's a person that's dangerous to society, you kill him. If you get in trouble, not get in trouble, but it's not ritzicha. Yesh ladam. Omer Rav Yosef, bezin shel zdukim ahava. So he said a story. I saw them burning a bas kohen that was mizana with wood, and they said, "Don't bring a riot. It's dukim that they don't learn Torah Shabbat Pes, so they don't know that it's boiling hot lead. They thought it's the wood." He said this, and this is what they answered him. I was so young. How old is he? How old is a kid when you take him on your shoulders? Like 4 years old, maybe. 5 years old. I remember the story. I remember telling my father that my Rebbe was like so tall, like he was the tall, like mamish till the sky. And when I saw him later on in life, I realized he was only 4.5 feet tall. Like when you're a kid, you see things. You think you see things. And the Lamaisa, they said, "You're a kid. We can't trust your testimony. You're a little kid." And then we have our Mishnah. So what happened in our Mishnah? So in other words, the Gemara is saying, it's not because they were tzdukim, and then this. No, you never saw what you saw. But our Mishnah says that he did see what he saw. It says, Gemara Shnei Maisim Havu, which is unbelievable. 2 bas koyens both burnt. There's 2 maises. So the Gemara says, okay, hey, Amalu Bereisha, which one did he say first? Eli Malka Maisa, he said the one with the tzdukim, our Mishnah, Amalu Bereisha, he said it first. Amalu Kshu Gadol V'Le'ash Gechubei. He said a story that he saw when he was 25 years old, and they said that what you saw is nothing, doesn't mean anything to us. So then he's going to repeat another story. He's going to say, but when I was 5 years old, I also saw it. Why would he repeat such a story? No, what happened was, he said a story over when he said he was a little kid. We can't trust you because you're a little kid. And then he said, but I also saw when I was an adult. Those, you can't bring a riot from that. They were tzedukim. Says the Mishnah, mitzvahs haneragim. Now we're talking about the sword, sayif. They would chop his head off. When he's standing up, they would chop his head off, like the goyim do. So, interesting enough, they used the guillotine, right? What's it called? Guillotine.
Guillotine.
I said guillotine, he said guillotine. Okay. Guillotine. They just used it as in France in 1977. In 1981, they got rid of it. In France. The guy was, he's obviously French, no? The guy that invented it died by it. Like they killed him at the end. He was Chayv Misa, so they used his device and chopped off his head. So that's how the guy do it. It's a terrible thing because he's standing up. All of a sudden, the guy's standing without a head, and then his head rolls on the floor, and now gets a shtickle concussion. I just made myself laugh. I'm just visualizing it. The guy's standing, all of a sudden, his head falls on the floor. It's very bad for the brain to fall from such height. We put his head, he lays nicely on a block of wood. I have a much better idea that's less disgusting. You take an axe and you chop his head off. That's the worst. That's much worse than a nice sharp sword. So what happened there? Of course I know that chopping with an axe is terrible. It's manuval. It's disgusting for the body. What I meant to say is, you can't do the same misa like a guy, and standing up and chopping with the sword is like a guy. It's not a question to think of. I have no idea what the answer is. Maybe I do. You could guess. Could you give somebody, instead of sreifa, bisman hazeh, when Mashiach comes, instead of sreifa, give him the electric chair. Say, hey, electric is sreifa, put it in an electric chair. Yes or no? So it could be it's a problem of it's what a guy does. All these misas of the guy, you're not allowed to imitate. Says the Gemara, and it says mefurish in the Torah. Look at this. Hakis yishve ir lefi chorev. It says mefurish in the Torah a sword. What are you telling the goyim do it? The Torah tells you to do it. Shalom Yisrael. I'm not learning from the guy. I have a raya. You let it burn the king. When a king dies, you burn his belongings, his bed, all his good stuff. And it's not like an Amori. You're not acting like a guy. How can you do it? The guy also do it. Since it's brought down in the Navi, it says that you should burn the king stuff. I'm not learning from the guy. Great. And according to Rabbi Yehuda, I use an axe. It says in the other parak. This is how this misas bezan. So this is interesting. Who gets the sword? Rabbi said, just think about it. Who gets a sword? In all the Torah, who gets a sword? Two people. A murderer and Irani Dachas. That's it. It says Mefurish with a sword. How do you know that a murderer gets a sword? So this is the pasuk by a slave. If a person kills a slave, so we see if he dies within 24 hours, you kill the owner, and if not, you don't kill him. And how do you kill him? Nakim, you do revenge. What is this? What kind of revenge? It says in the same passage the word cherev, and it says Nechama. So revenge is with the sword. Maybe you take the sword and you stab him in his heart. You keep on stabbing until he dies. No, lifi charev ksiv. Says Rashi, cherev pifiyos. Cherev means it's sharp on both sides. So you kill him with the sharpness of the sword, not with the point of the sword. Ve'imel David le gistera. Perhaps it means, so I have a picture. This is Gevaldik. This is Gistera Raboisai from top to bottom. Here we go. From top all the way down. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Top to bottom. You can't do that. You have to give him a nice death. Says so I have a passage that says that you kill the master, you kill him with a sword. What if this master didn't kill his slave, but he killed a Yisrael? What kind of misa? Says if you kill a slave, you get the sword. What's less than side? There's only one less. In the order, it's skila, sreifa, hereg, chenek. So you don't want to kill him with the sword. So you're going to kill him with choking. That's okay, great. So you give him sayiv because there's nothing. You can't go lower. But that's if you say that chenek is less than sayiv. Maybe when the Torah says to kill him, you kill him with chenek because it's more. According to Rabbi Shimon, chenek is higher than sayiv. Hukshu kol shevchei dam le'egla arufa. All the Mrs. Bezin are like egla arufa. So I'll just show you when I used to do the art myself, this is what it looked like. I even put the tchelis on, but you can see there's like a little bit of an outline around my art, like I stole it from the internet somewhere, and even there's a little piece over here, the cursor is still in there, you see? I'm not the greatest artist. And then, by the way, it's not so much different than this one. This is what Yoshi did. Okay, so I like mine. Just like egla arufa, you kill him with a knife. And by the neck, Saif is also by the neck. And you don't stab him. But maybe by egla arufa, you're using more like a how do you say kupitz? More like this guy, not an axe or like a cleaver, yeah, like a, okay, but it's from the other side of the neck. It's from the back of the neck, right? You're not killing the cow from where you shecht him. You're killing from the top, from his spine part. Maybe when you kill a yid, it should be also from the back of his neck and with an axe. Omar Rav Nachman, that we had on the Amud Aleph, Omar Kra. Misa Yafa. Should we stop right over here? Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day. Have a great Shabbos. Motzi Shabbos at what time? 8:45, Motzi Shabbos. 8:45. We're pushing it off 15 minutes.